What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Gish coming at you live on Top Deck Mishaps YouTube channel. We're going to be doing a What Mechanic series, and to start off that series, I'm gonna show you guys a combo tutorial on the Storm mechanic. Now, a lot of newer players don't know how Storm works. So Storm is a keyword on older cards, some newer cards, mainly older, like this. Empty the Warrens. So Storm has the ability, when you cast this spell, copy it for each spell you cast before this turn. Seems like a pretty good thing when you're getting the same card multiple times over, which really helps you persist into a win game. Into an end game, I should say. Storm is in a win condition. And to do this, I have a mono red Storm deck right here. So this is the opening 7. We have Dragon Fodder, Mog War Marshal, Rodeo Pyromancers, Steamkin, Runaway Steamkin, Grape Shot, which is another Storm card, and 2 Mountains. So the fact that this is mono red, you lose a lot of consistency that other colors, like blue is an amazing pair for Storm. But let's start on how this goes. So turn 1, Mountain pass, opponent passes, we draw. Second Grape Shot, not really bad, not really good. Play a Mountain, go 2 for a Rodeo Pyromancer. Whenever you cast your first spell each turn, this adds 2 red. Oh wait, this is 4 mana. I know how to count. So instead of that, we're going to do Runaway Steamkin. Whenever you cast a spell, if Runaway Steamkin has fewer than 3 +1/+1 counters on it, remove, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Then you can remove 3 to add 3 red. This is one of our main engines for mana. Pass the turn, they draw, we draw. Go 2 for a for a Dragon Fodder, which makes 2 1/1 goblins, which also triggers the Runaway Steamkin to put a +1/+1 counter on him. We miss a land drop, unfortunately, but we pass. Opponent passes, we draw. Thrill of Possibility. So what we're going to do is we're going to cast Thrill, discarding an additional cost to cast this. You have to discard a card. So discard Grape Shot, get a counter, draw 2, draw, return the favor, and Grape Shot. Now that's not very good considering that this deck needs its mana. Like, you legitimately need mana to combo off. Like, right now you're behind on lands. So our best bet is to hopefully draw a land on next turn. So untap, draw, it's a mountain, play the mountain. And I think our best bet is to go Mog War Marshal. When he enters, he makes a 1/1 goblin. Or when he dies, he also makes a 1/1 goblin. We pass, our opponent passes. We play another mountain. And upkeep, this sacks to make us another 1/1 goblin. So you might be wondering, why do you have all these goblins? Well, there's a couple cards in here that would make it really, really good to have all these goblins. For example, let's say we had this card in our hand called Skirk Prospector. We could go cast Skirk Prospector, and he has an ability called that reads sacrifice a goblin, add a red mana. So we could go sack for a red. We could honestly go sack these 4 in total for a red. So we have 4 red mana, and we could play Rodeo Pyromancers. Whenever you cast your first spell each turn, add 2 red. Then we go 2 for a Magebane Lizard. So this is a new card. I only have 2 copies of this. Magebane Lizard. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, he deals damage equal to that player, equal to the number of non-creature spells that they've cast this turn. So it's literally just a 1/4 that blocks. This is a 3/4 that blocks. Sometimes you just need to protect your guys. Draw. Skirk Prospector, pass, draw. This is where this deck gets stupid, because you play a second Runaway Steamkin, and if you have the ability to play multiple spells in a turn, the whole point of this deck is to just cascade spells. So you're drawing. So here's where you get this. You don't cast it. Play a mountain. You just keep literally playing every single land you get. And then like, oh hey, another Rodeo Pyromancer's pass, draw. It's a Skirk Prospector. Now this time we're not going to cast this. We're going to just accumulate cards in our hand. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then on our turn 8. So here's what we do. We go cast Runaway Steamkin. And what this is going to do, let's say we don't have the lizard. Let's say we don't have the lizard. So what this is going to do, and we're going to mark this by our trusty fire energy here. And what this is going to do is this is going to keep track of how much mana we have. So we cast the Runaway Steamkin. We have 2 Rodeo Pyromancer triggers. So we have 4 red floating. We have a Runaway Steamkin, which goes to 3. We have a Runaway Steamkin that goes to 1. So these each gain 1. Then we can go, and also, that was our first spell of the turn. So our storm count is 1. Sorry, that's an 8. Is 1, which we mark by our storm counter here. And what this does is it tracks how... It's important to keep track of how many spells you've cast. It also helps. So starting off with a mountain, Skirk Prospector, which trigger, we go up to 2, and this Runaway Steamkin goes to 1. This goes to 2. And then we can go 4. 4 red mana, Geological Appraiser. Trigger. So we go to 3, we go to 2, we go to 3 storm. Trigger his enter the battlefield. If you've cast it, you discover. So what we're going to do is we're going to exile cards from the top of our deck until we exile a non-land card with mana value 3 or less. Skirk Prospector. We're going to cast this card. So that puts our 3rd Runaway Steamkin to 3. Takes us up to 4 storm count. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go use this for a red. Remove the counters from the first Runaway Steamkin to go up 3 red. So in total we have 8 red in our pool. So I'm going to do 2 of it for Highway Robbery. So 1 and 2. Which will count our storm. And we'll trigger our Runaway Steamkin with no counters on it to go up to 1. Now, something else that you can do in response to this is remove these 3 counters to get 6 more mana. So that way, in total, we're at 14, but we're spending 2 of it, and that way we reset all of our Runaway Steamkins, and they start getting a counter again. Now this also has you may cast a card, you may discard a card, or sacrifice a land if you draw 2 cards. So I'm going to sack a land, and I'm going to draw 2, which is Dragon Fodder, Magebane Lizard. So then I can go 1, 2 for Dragon Fodder, getting an additional storm, going up a counter on each of our runaways. So now they have 2 counters each. And this will make us 2 red goblins. Then I can go sacrifice 3 Skirk Prospectors to a Skirk Prospector. So that provides us 3 additional mana, which puts us up to 13. We're going to sack the 2 goblins to put us up to 15 mana in our pool. This does not trigger our storm count because we're not casting a spell. Then we can go 2 for dragon fodder, respond, go 2 more for a return the favor, paying 1 to copy the target instant or sorcery. So we're going to copy the dragon fodder. So that adds 1/2 spells to our stack, which means now we have a storm count of 8, which puts all 3 of our runaway steamkins at 3 additional mana. Well, at 3 additional counters. And then we're going to make 4 1/1 goblins. Which, if we want to, we can sacrifice all 4 of these to our Skirk Prospector over here for 4 mana, putting us back up to 14 red mana. I'm just going to leave these over here because these are irrelevant right now. These are irrelevant. These are our main cards. So we can go 1, 2, Mage Bane Lizard to increase our storm count. And then we can go 3, 6, 9 red mana, going up to 21, paying 2, going to 19 for Grape Shot. So Grape Shot is going to deal 1 damage to any target, but it also has Storm. So right now there's 10 damage being flung at the opponent. So we're going to use this to target our opponent's face, fling 10 at him. Notingly, that is our 10th spell. Then we can go 1 and 2 for a Grape Shot, swinging 11 damage at our opponent. So we've effectively, in 1 turn, hit our opponent for 24 points of damage. Now there are a multitude of other different ways to do this. So while the Skirk Prospector Goblin outlet is one of the main outlets of the deck, I do play other cards such as... So there's another Storm card in Empty the Warrens, which create 2 1/1 red goblin creature tokens with Storm. Gutter Snipe. Whenever you cast an instant sorcery spell, Gutter Snipe deals 2 damage to each opponent. Coincidentally, this does not trigger off of Storm because you're not casting, you are copying. This deck has many ways to win, but let's look at if we have Skirk Prospector, Gutter Snipe, Empty the Warrens, I don't know. 4 lands, and then we're drawing Thrill of Possibility, 2 Highway Robberies, a Mog War Marshal, a Return the Favor, and 2 Crash Throughs, and 2 Dragon Fodders, and 1 Grape Shot. So let's just say that our opening hand, for sake of argument, is these 4 cards. So you can go Mountain, Skirk Prospector. Pass. Your opponent does something, passes. You untap, you draw. Oh, hey, look, it's a Thrill Possibility. Play a Mountain, pass turn. Your opponent passes. You're not... Now, what we're going to do is we're not going to cast the Thrill Possibility until we have a discard. We draw. Highway Robbery. Cool. Play a Mountain. Go 3 for a Gutter Snipe. Pass. So now we're doing damage to our opponent. Draw. Play. Now, coincidentally, what we're going to do is 2 highway robbery, dealing 2. And then we're going to discard the thrill of possibility to draw 2, which we know is the Mogwar Marshal and the Return the Favor. We pass, our opponent passes, well, our opponent passes to us. We untap, we draw. Oh, hey, look, it's a crash through. 2 for the Mogwar Marshal, make a goblin. Goblins, honestly, is one of my personal favorite storm engines. But I digress. Untap, draw, crash through. Cool. So now, what we're gonna want to do... Oh, wait. So he is dead, and we have made another goblin. I honestly forget the echo trigger more than I care to admit. But now what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at potentially making a big board of goblins. So we go 2, well, 1 for a crash through. So that being said, we're going to keep our handy dandy storm counter here. We are at storm count 1. So all of our creatures have trample, and we draw a card. Oh, hey, look, it's dragon fodder. We're going to go 2, cast dragon fodder. Make 2 more goblins. Then we're going to go 1 for crash through. Draw an additional card. That's another dragon fodder. Sack for 2 red. Cast dragon fodder. Storm count is 4. Now we make 2 1/1s. Now here's where we have some options. My best option right now is to get more goblins into play. So we're going to go sacrifice these 4. But while also doing that, we have dealt 2, 4, 6, 8 this turn. So that's 8 damage dealt to our opponent. We're going to go sacrifice these for 4 red mana. We're going to use the 4 red mana to cast Empty the Warrens. Storm count is 4, so we're getting 10 1/1s. Storm count is now 5. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're going to go sacrifice 2 of them for 2 red mana. And we're going to cast Highway Robbery. We are going to sack a land. And then we're going to sack 2, 3 for Return the Favor, which puts us up to storm count 6. We're going to choose to copy the Highway Robbery. We're going to sack another land. This is going to deal 4, so they've taken a grand total of 12 damage off of the Gutter Snipe. So, resolving effects. This draws us 2 cards. Grape Shot, Dragon Fodder. This is going to resolve, drawing us 2 cards. Grape Shot, Thrill of Possibility. So we go sacrifice for 2, cast Dragon Fodder, storm count 8, storm count 7, deal 2, which puts us up to 14 total damage. Make 2 goblins. Now, one thing that we are going to do is we're going to go sack 2, cast Grape Shot. Trigger to deal 2 damage. So Gutter Snipe has dealt 16 right now. Grape Shot is dealing 8 by itself. So this is already enough for game. 90% of the time, this deck is going to win without attacking. Storm has that win out of nowhere effect, and it honestly just is amazing on how it plays. I love how Storm decks and how they're like putting pieces of a puzzle together. I enjoy building 60 card crackhead formats, if you will, to where we have a battle cube format for Magic, which was inspired by battle decks off of Card Kingdom for Magic the Gathering. And what that is, I'm sorry, I think I misspoke. We have a battle cube format for our Yu-Gi-Oh! There we go. Which is inspired off of the battle decks from Card Kingdom. That being said, what the whole purpose of this is, we have a mono green storm deck, we have a mono blue storm deck, we have a mono red storm deck, which is right here, and we have a mono black storm deck. We just don't have an artifact storm deck because there's no colorless cards that read storm, at least yet. But they're all equal power, they can fight each other. Blue has 0 counter spells, green is just life gain and squirrels. And blue is literally just draw cards and mill your opponent out, then cast free stuff. Black is life, is I'm going to pay my life to draw cards and then I'm going to storm you out. But this is our mono red storm deck. It is goblins. It is a lot of fun. If you guys have any comments, concerns, or questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. You can like, you can comment, you can subscribe. You can check out our podcast at Top Deck Mishap. We are on Spotify. We are on Apple Podcast. We are on a Podbean. Check out Podbean. We are on. We have a Facebook page, Top Deck Mishap. Please feel free to drop a like on the Facebook page. Feel free to comment on the Facebook page. By all means, there's so many ways you can look out for the channel. You can help promote everything for the channel. If you guys want to leave a comment, feel free. We will love to discuss how this deck works and just our thoughts on any of other card games you want to have us look at. I don't know, Star Wars Destiny. By all means, leave a comment. We'll talk to you about Star Wars Destiny, our thoughts. We'll even put up a video here pretty soon on Star Wars Destiny specifically. Flesh and Blood. If you have any comments about Flesh and Blood, Grand Archive, just go ahead, leave the comments in the comment section. Leave them down below. We will be more than happy to comment and to chat with you guys. But this is Gish off of Top Deck Mishap, signing off.